listening to the Marketing Happy Hour podcast, where we discuss career and industry insights with our peers in marketing.
We're here to talk about it all, like the ups and downs of working in social media,
how to build authentic relationships in the influencer and PR space,
managing a 9-to-5 and a side hustle at the same time,
how to be productive in your life and career without losing your sanity, and more.
Ultimately, we're here to build a community with you because we're all trying to navigate the world of marketing together.
Are you ready? Grab your favorite drink and join your hosts, Cassie and Erica, for this week's episode.
Customized branding, how you visually represent yourself, can help how you connect with your customers. There are other layers, but that initial kind of an ongoing relationship can really be fostered by how you visually are branding yourself.
This week, we're chatting with Courtney Cervantes, marketing manager at 99designs by Vista, the global creative platform that makes it easy for you to work with freelance graphic designers from around the world to bring your brand to life through custom, memorable design. We had the privilege of working alongside Courtney and the 99designs creative community to design our new logo, and it was such an awesome experience. In this episode, Courtney shares her background in PR, her breakout into entrepreneurship, and how she landed back on the brand side at 99designs. We also walk through the creative platform, explain why excellent branding and cohesive content can elevate your brand, and uncover how you can utilize the full funnel experience of 99designs by Vista for all your marketing needs. To learn more about 99designs and get $20 off your first design contest, head on over to 99designs.com/marketing-happy-hour. That's 99designs.com/marketing-happy-hour and click Get Started to begin.
All right, so we are very excited for today's guest. If you've noticed, Marketing Happy Hour recently has been through a major rebrand, and 99designs is one of the companies behind it. And Courtney is here today with us, and she was a huge part in making all of this happen, a great person and contact that we've had on the 99design side. So welcome, Courtney, to Marketing Happy Hour.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, we're so excited to have you. And you are over tell us where you're at right now.
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah,
I live here.
So cool. I'm so jealous. I need to come out that way. But yes, we're excited to have you, Courtney. I certainly will. Maybe we'll record an episode in Australia too at some point.
Going international. I love it.
Yes.
You can do it in our office.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. We're gonna make it happen.
Just let me know when you book it.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, as we get into it here, we got to ask a very important question that we ask all of our guests, Courtney, and that is, what is in your glass this morning for you, but this afternoon for us?
February here, and I'm starting the month with a massive cup of tea. Yeah, I'm not, as I told you guys, I'm not against like a 9 a.m. mimosa, but you know. It's Wednesday, so we'll just, we'll stick with the tea.
I love it. I actually just finished a matcha, and then I also have a huge glass of water, as always double fisting. But what about you, Erica? What do you have?
All I have right now is water. I was going to grab an Onda before this, but time got away from me, so I did not. But I will definitely be indulging after this recording. I'm excited. Have you heard of Onda, Courtney?
I was just going to ask, what is that?
Do you know Shay Mitchell? It's her brand of sparkling tequila seltzer. It is so good. And for the first first season of Marketing Happy Hour, I was talking about it in every single episode. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to diversify my little drink preferences, but I love it. And I don't know if they have it in Australia, but you should definitely look
at I will. I'll look it up. I know I will be going back I'm from California. I'll be going back in May. So if it's not here, I'll try it then. I love trying new spirit stuff. So
same
us too.
That's why we
Yeah.
are marketing happy hour over here. So
Yeah. This is where I belong, really.
yes.
This is my vibe. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Well, Courtney, we kind of know a little bit of your background, but we'd love for our marketing happy hour listeners to hear your career journey up to this point and how you kind of got started with 99 Designs.
Yeah, so I started my career in PR, actually. I was living in San Francisco and I started working for a PR agency. And I was with them for about 5 years. And while I was there, kind of my bread and butter became CPG brands, like or consumer packaged goods. So I was working with spirits, wine and spirits, and like Blue Diamond Almond Breeze. They
Yes.
called me the queen of liquids, which was funny. Anyway, so I was there in San Francisco, and then we were bi-coastal, so I moved to New York in the company, which is amazing. Like being on the ground, meeting journalists, and what you kind of figure out over. I was there for 5 years, and you kind of figure out what you like and don't like about PR. And there was always a part of me that was like, I loved having these relationships with journalists, but we would like we'd be working with a brand partner, for example, to tell this cool story. And obviously our job is to get coverage, but I always wanted to see about, okay, well, what social media should we be doing, or what paid elements are there that we could be leveraging? How can we amplify this? And so I was clearly gravitating to like marketing as well. And then an opportunity came up to work in-house at this wine and spirits company. So I got that gig, and there I was definitely more marketing and like brand comms. And it was interesting because I had been working with this massive team and like all these brands, and then it was now me in a very small crew, which was amazing learning experience. But I was then doing like running our influencer program and working with our sales team and like doing kind of dipping my toes in paid like ads, that sort of thing. And then after about 4 years in New York, I was like getting a little bit restless, and I really wanted to start my own thing. So one of my former coworkers and I started a company called Whisk, which was about creating these memorable out of office experiences. So like company retreats, that sort of thing. And that was really cool. And then to supplement like my living expenses, I was doing some freelance work, and I was traveling. And I think it was maybe towards the end of 2019, we just weren't bringing in like quite as much as we needed to be doing in so I was doing a lot of freelance work and we were trying new things with Whisk. And then the pandemic kind of hit, and we just decided to close shop on Whisk. And I just kept freelancing, and by then I was here in Melbourne. That's where my travels took me. And yeah, one of my clients ended up being 99designs. And after working with them for, I think it was like 3-4 months, they asked if I'd be interested in full-time work. And it was awesome because in contracting with them, I got to see how they work, how people treat each other. And, when you're freelancing, you get something that I think, a bit nervous about if you go back to a full-time role, is losing some of your freedom, having less control over your work. And because I kind of got this test run with 99designs through contracting, I didn't have that worry. It was kind of a no-brainer for me. So yeah, now I'm there and yeah, working there for a little while now. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's kind of a long-winded.
No, that's so good. And I am curious because we've had a couple of people on who have been in and out of self-employment, and they did it for a little bit, went back to the corporate space. What do you feel about self-employment was beneficial for a corporate role? Was there anything you learned about organization or just, tell me about that. Like how is that beneficial for what you're doing today?
Oh, so many ways. I mean, 99designs is a company that really values people who are self-starters, who like want to have this idea and run with it. And obviously when you are freelancing and or self-employed, it's your responsibility to just create opportunities for yourself and run with them, improve yourself. And I think just that energy and that attitude and that experience of learning how to like kind of do that hustle, like it just now translates to projects I'm working on for 99. I need to say 99designs, but we just say 99 when we're talking about it. That's what I mean if it wasn't clear. But yeah, definitely the organizational elements, like you do figure out kind of how to streamline things and how to work as efficiently as possible, because you're managing so many moving pieces, especially when you're self-employed and like doing a services based business. So it's your time that's of value. And you just learn a lot while working for yourself. Like,
Yes.
you have a client who's like, oh, could you also help us with this? And you're like, sure, yes. And then, you figure it out and do a test run. I mean, obviously it's, it's something kind of within the industry, so it's not completely
Yeah.
out of left field, but yeah, and then all of those skills just translate.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it's been beneficial to be able to work for one of your past clients. So like you said, you know how everything kind of already works, you understand the brand, you get it and everything. And so I'm sure that takes a lot of that initial kind of shock of going out of the self-employment space and into the corporate world again, to have that familiarity with the brand too.
Oh, totally. It was, yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. Like, that exists. If you can ever like with a client and have that experience initially,
Mm-hmm.
it's invaluable. Like, just like you said, I knew people already. I understood the brand. For me, it was a test run, and then when I jumped in, I felt like I could already provide value quite quickly, even though I'd been working in a more limited capacity prior.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so good. Well, let's specifically talk about 99 Designs here for a minute. I want to kind of dive into the platform, the business itself, how it works and everything. We had such a great experience working with you guys and all the amazing designers that work within the platform. So first, go ahead and tell us a little bit about 99 Designs as a whole. What is the mission and vision and objective of the company?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, oh, by the way, I'm so glad you guys had such a good experience. That makes me
Yes.
so happy. Your logo is awesome. I'm thrilled. But we are a global creative platform that makes it easy for you with business, pretty much anyone, to work with freelance graphic designers from all over the world, to really bring your brand to life through custom design. So people come to us to get their logos done, but then there's so much more. Like, well, if you're starting a business, you can get your logo and like brand guide. Then we have, if you need social media templates, if you need a new website, merch is huge. That's one of my favorite things to work
Yes.
on. Yeah, so pretty much whatever you need. And, our mission is to champion creativity, to create opportunities all over the world. And for us, like, I know it probably sounds like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, but we've really seen what design can do for businesses. Like, it elevates them, it instills confidence, it helps connect with customers. And then on the design side, we have this amazing community of designers. We have, what is it, over, I think, 150,000 designers from 192 countries on our platform. We have this amazing community, and they can build their careers on the platform, build their portfolios, have the opportunity to work with brands everywhere. Like, you guys are in Florida, right? And I don't remember where your designer was from, but you could work with a designer in Barcelona. And how cool is that? We just want to break down borders, because typically in the past, like, if you're a business or any brand really who needs design work done, you generally might go to, a designer or someone who maybe dabbles in graphic design, or a friend of a friend. And this way you can come to our platform and have the chance to connect with a designer from anywhere. And also, they might see your brand from a different perspective and can bring this whole new energy to it, which is really cool. Yeah, that's us. I get really talking about us because it's so cool. Like, we were we partnered with the Sydney Festival, and contributed to the Frida Kahlo exhibit. And my
Cool.
colleague and I got to go last week to check it out in person. And we had helped this one company, the Flower Social. They make flower crowns, very appropriate for Frida Kahlo. And they're this small business, and we helped them with these illustrations so people could do their flower crowns. And it just elevated the experience a little bit, right? And they were so happy with them, and you could just tell what having that addition just did for what they were offering. And stuff like that just is, makes Makes our work really cool.
Big impact, and seemingly small probably in the day-to-day. You're like, oh, what are we here for? What are we doing? And then you get to step into real life and see how much impact your company really has. That's so cool. I love that so much. And one thing I did want to point out too that I loved about the platform is, if you are someone that's looking for like a logo, like you said, most of the time you're going to an agency, or you're going to a graphic designer, or somebody that that dabbles in graphic design, or you're outsourcing, you're on freelance platforms and you don't know what you're going to get. And one of the things I loved about 99 Designs is every designer kind of has their own portfolio of designs that they've created in the past. And it was just so easy to go through and be like, okay, this person's really going to understand like what we want and know how to, fine tune the result to get to where we want to be. And so that was really cool to see too. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's nice to be able to go to the platform and see people's work, and then speak with them directly and see if they understand what you want. Because a lot of times we just have this idea in our heads of like, oh, this is what we could see happening, and then you kind of might try to do it yourself on a tool, and you're like, crap, that's not what I wanted. So yeah, but you have this vision, right? So when you see it, it makes sense, and then if you find that designer and they can bring it to life, it's really cool.
Or you're like Cassie and I, and you're sitting at a local bar in Tampa and trying to figure out what you're doing with marketing happy hour, and quickly designing something in Canva that takes 20 minutes and doesn't look like what you want it to look like. That might have been us, like a year ago.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and we do find that with a lot of people who use the platform. They've, like you guys, they, are starting out. They kind of just need to see if what they're doing is going to work. And then they get maybe a year in or 6 months in or whatever. And they're like, okay, now it's time. We need to look legit.
Yeah.
We need to get someone professional who knows what they're doing to jump in and help us out. And it's still like, it's cool. It makes you really confident. That I don't know if that's how you guys feel, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh,
100%. Yeah. No, we had been talking about it for a long time. We're like, okay, it's been a year and a half. Like, it's time to kind of turn the page and do something else. And Erica and I both have designers in our space, but we did love the idea of having so many options to choose from. And I actually heard about you guys from another influencer who created her podcast branding, I believe, through 99 Designs. So I remember seeing her content and I was like, this is such a great concept. Like, we need to figure out how this works and go through the process ourselves. So I do want to talk about process for a second really quickly. So can you tell us the different ways to create a project, and what are some of the types of projects that brands or personal brands or creators can create on the platform?
Yeah, so there are 2 ways to work on the platform. You can do a contest, which you go on, and that we have, like, for example, if you're doing a logo, there's a brief that you fill out, kind of like obviously what you want in your logo, your style, that sort of thing. Regardless of whether you're using our platform or not, you should always have a brief.
Yes.
Anyway, so you fill out your brief and then you submit it, and then it's available to our creative community to submit their design, their interpretation of what you want. And of course, if they have the time, the capacity to, and are interested in participating. And then you get, I mean, it depends. I forget how many you guys got, but you can get hundreds of options that then you sift through, offer feedback, and you can work with the designers to then get to kind of really what you want. And then you ultimately pick your winning design. So that's contests. And then you can also do one-on-one projects, where you go, we have like, if you go to our site, find a designer tab that you can go to, or even the inspiration, and you can look for like the styles you like. You can even kind of filter based on experience or their specialty. And you can find a designer directly and then reach out and get a quote and then manage that project on our platform. So those are the 2 ways you can work with us. Often what we'll see is that someone, like, for example, you guys got your logo done through a contest, and then the designer you worked with now knows your brand, right? Mm-hmm. And they your logo to life. So then you end up working with them on future branding projects. So we see that happen a lot. But otherwise, in terms of how people use it, like I've said logo a lot, I know, but we've seen like, so small brands often do get their branding on our platform. But then we also see bigger brands. Like the other day I saw one and it was like a award that they're going to start giving to their customers. And so they had like that design created through a contest, or like your teams, like big companies, they want to have like a logo that represents their team. So they'll get those done. Otherwise, your website, you can get your website designed. I think I mentioned it before, but like social media templates to make sure your social media is all cohesive. You can get like a PowerPoint presentation done. Like we'll have a lot of startups who want, are obviously presenting themselves a lot and they need something that looks innovative and custom. So they'll get their PowerPoint presentation slides created. And yeah, I'm repeating myself a bit, but merch is another one that's like pretty cool. But yeah, you can really create anything. Even last year we had a few of our colleagues were going on family leave, and we worked with one of our designers to create like an alphabet poster, those cute, and each of the letters was this cute like animal or design.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we got it printed and framed. And I should mention, actually, I don't know if I have yet, but we're part of the Vista family. So we were acquired by Vista, I think it was late 2020. And one thing there's a lot of things that are very cool about this, but something is that you can get, your design done. And then like if you get business cards designed on our platform, and then you can just get them printed through Vistaprint. And it's a very seamless process.
That's so nice. That's such like a streamlined effort. I love that so much. One of the other things too that I really liked about working with the 99designs platform and just like the designers in general was it was so collaborative. I remember I was in New York during this contest time and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, like I don't have a lot of time to kind of like dedicate to looking at these designs and all of that stuff. But Cassie and I were both able to kind of narrow it down really quickly, communicate the things that we wanted to change a little bit. So like maybe there was a color we didn't like, or we wanted to see it in a different color. Like we were able to really, submit that feedback and get new designs really quickly, which was so awesome to see and just such a great experience to have. And like I've worked in the past with other graphic designers and people, and it takes a long time for your feedback to be implemented, but this was almost immediate. Honestly, I think there was probably one time, and maybe this doesn't happen with all of the contests, but I think there was like one time we were on the phone together. I was like sitting at this bar in New York and I was like, okay, let's say this to them. Like we want to see it in this color or whatever. And then we were going through some of the other designs and we refreshed the page and we were like, oh my gosh, they just submitted it in like 3 different other styles. Like, this is so great. So we seriously, when we say we had such a good experience, we mean it. Like it was such a great tool. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so stoked to hear that. Yeah, of course. Our pleasure. No, that's not uncommon for sure. Like that is a benefit of having a global platform, right? Because with time zones, like for example, what time is it over there? Like 5?
It's 5:30 right 5:30.
Now. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for example, let's just say you just looked at your contest and provide some feedback, and then someone in Australia is just getting up and like jumps it right in. Yeah. So then when you wake up, that is kind of where you can get those quick turnarounds. And plus designers get excited about projects. Like when we start working with you guys, I ended up reaching out to a couple of designers who I thought could be a good fit. And, if they have the capacity, they jump in, like they get excited by the opportunities, and it's an opportunity to practice, but also build their profiles. And
totally.
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it.
Oh. Yes, we did.
An amazing experience. Would recommend. Yes. Do recommend.
Good.
I want to hear from you why you think excellent branding, cohesive look, all of that is important for a brand? Like, what can that bring? We touched on it a little bit, it's nice to have that. It looks pretty, it looks aesthetically pleasing, but why is that important? Does it draw people more into your brand if you have these excellent branding elements, or what do you see?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, attracting customers is a huge element. I mean, if you think of any industry right now, the I'm trying to think of one that doesn't have much competition, like, and how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah.
Um, it can be really challenging, right? And, you know, customized branding, how you visually represent yourself can help how you connect with your customers. I think about it like an outfit a lot, right? Like if I show up, like you have a job interview, do you want to hire the person who's in their trackies, or do you want to hire the person who's, you know, dressed to impress,
Yeah.
like it's the same thing. Um, on connecting like with customers, that over time that really help builds loyalty and trust. Like if a brand appeals to you, you want to invest in it and you want to keep investing in it. Of course, there's behind the branding, like, there's the quality of product and customer service. There are other layers, but that initial kind of an ongoing relationship can really be fostered by how you visually are branding yourself. And I think we've talked about it a bit, but just the kind of making sure everything's cohesive. So like, you guys do a really good job with this, your social media, and then like really ties well with even your personalities, and then like how you present yourself on your website, like everything just links together really well. So you want all of that to feel really cohesive and consistent. Um, Again, if you were to like, meet someone who's, I don't know, what are they wearing? Like all black and looking really punk. And then you see the next day and they're really preppy or something. You're kind of like, dissonance just creates a little bit of a,
See
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Experiences are important,
Yeah, that's such a good analogy. I've never thought about it that way, with like the way that you appear personally with your clothing and things like that, because it's so true. It sends different messages, and branding talks to people in a number of ways. That's why there's so much psychology behind it, behind colors and all these different elements you're using, and it can tell a lot about the personalities behind the brand, but also the brand itself. What is the essence of the brand, and all of that is tied into the visual aspect too. So, I tell people all the time, I'm like, if I go on your social media, or if I'm scrolling and I see something that is like way out of left field and doesn't connect to the brand and what I know of the brand, it is confusing to the consumer, and it causes them to think more and to problem solve when we should be making people's lives easier, not, more complicated. So yeah, so great.
Totally. Yeah. We're just becoming more and more impatient, right? So like, and anything that delays our process to like press purchase or whatever, not great. Yeah. You don't want to get in your own way. So I think it's just becoming non-negotiable. Like your branding should be up there. Of course there is, like we've talked about that, time where you're just getting started and maybe, want to see if you can prove yourself first and if this is a viable option. But beyond that, like when you really want to be in the game, you have to invest in your visual branding. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you don't know where to start, something like 99 Designs is great, because you see a lot of different translations of the brand and you can kind of figure that out as you go. So love that element of it. But want to ask you, Courtney, you've talked a little bit about this already, but just working with 99 Designs specifically in your role, what do you enjoy most about working for the company and what you're able to do in your position?
Oh, well, I really like my team, where everyone I work with is really cool internally. But then a big part of my role is working with brand partners, influencers, doing sponsorships. And I love connecting with people everywhere. It's just, I feel like I get to travel a little bit every day, like I get to meet new people. So that's something I love about it. And also for my role in particular, there's just a lot of variety. Like we dabble into, I dabble with social media, not dabble, I do more than dabble, but you know what I mean? So there's the influencer brand partner side of things, and then social media. And we have a marketing team where people might handle different things, but we all are collaborating constantly. And luckily, because of what we do, everything's very creative.
Yes.
And like, there's just no, I mean, there's never any stupid ideas, but really for us, it's just like as weird as you can get, it's, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. It's so great to work in an environment that kind of fosters that creativity. I feel like a lot of times we lose that in the day to day, and it's just so cool and refreshing to hear from someone who's like, my job's fun. I get to create. I'm excited about it. So I love that so much. But let's talk a little specifically about in brand partnerships and things like your partnership with Marketing Happy Hour. Do you kind of find that affiliate partnerships work well for the services that you guys provide? Is there another outlet that you guys use? Just a little background on what you guys do with brand partnerships would be great.
Yeah, so our kind of work with brand partnerships or having that be a part of our marketing program, I guess, is it came about really organically, right? Like our platform, as you guys experience, like it's pretty straightforward, but it's not necessarily like a protein powder, right? Like you kind of have to experience it and have someone walk you through it and provide their experience to better understand it. So that's where brand partnerships have come in. We like to work with people who are also helping businesses in some way, so that we obviously have really aligned values and missions. And we also like to make sure that they've worked on their platform. So a lot of our partners are people that have been customers of 99designs already, and we connect that way. Because then it's more authentic, right? So when they speak to their experience, like you guys have, they can talk about how it helped them, can even talk about anything to like tips, that kind of thing. And they're spreading the word to their community. And we all know that word of mouth marketing is obviously as valuable as it gets. Yeah, king. Are invaluable to what we do, and help us tell our story and make sure more and more communities know about us. Like that's all we want, is to help people grow and find success. And like we know how important branding is, but we can't necessarily guarantee they're going to just stumble upon our Instagram or our website. So we like to work with brand partners to help spread the word and tell their experiences.
That's awesome. Yeah, the world of influencers, brand partnerships has certainly changed over time. So it's just always cool to hear from different companies and how they're adjusting with the times and figuring out new ways to develop those relationships. But with that, I kind of want to ask too about just what projects or new advancements, changes in the business are you the most excited about, and how are you going to use some of the brand partnerships or marketing channels to help promote some of those avenues?
In terms of, as we're part of the Vista family, there's a lot of us trying to show how you use 99designs and then can take whatever you get designed and have it printed. And basically, if for all your marketing needs, you can come here, let me show you how you can do that, Yeah. And so for a lot of what we're doing, it's showing that full funnel experience. So that's with a lot of our partnerships, we love to help them get design work done. And then can we print that on t-shirts, or can we print on a toner? Do you need business cards? That kind of thing. We want to show like that full experience. So I think that's really our goal for at the moment, is to show how streamlined that is, and how welcoming and approachable that experience can be for any small business, any business really. There's so many moving pieces all the time that sometimes you just need help. You just need someone to make it easy for you, and that's what we want to do.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. Cassie and I will have to chat about merch, because that sounds like a next big endeavor. That sounds something we want.
Absolutely. I want a t-shirt, please.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, we love to ask this question on the show. This is something that I think we've probably asked every single one of our guests without even meaning to. It's just always on our sheet that we send out, but I love it so much that I ask it every single time. What do you know now that you wish you knew early on in your career?
I have two things.
Okay.
One is that nothing is really as urgent as someone makes it seem to be. I remember back when I was an account coordinator, one of like my managers, I think, asked me to do this thing And it's like, oh, if you could like let me know where, you've got to by tomorrow morning, that'd be great. And I was at the office, I think till like 10 p.m. And then I was kind of like on the verge of just really hitting a wall. I was like, all right, well, I've gotten to as far as I can, but I felt all this pressure to get done. And then I find out the next day that this is like an ongoing admin type job that I was basically trying to fit into a night. And I mean, I didn't exactly learn my lesson after that, but you start to understand that, hey, look, like if you're not able to dedicate enough time to something and you have a deadline, if you're able to give someone enough of a heads up, you can say, hey, like, I haven't quite got to this. I want to do it right. Like, do we have a little bit of time? And then the second thing is that I think just no one knows as much as you think they do. Like I have a tendency to get quite intimidated by people and think, oh my God, they know all this stuff. Like I'm gonna sound just not an unprofessional, but I'm just gonna sound like such an amateur, or I shouldn't ask these questions because everyone else already knows this and I'm just the idiot in the room. But yeah, over time I found that pretty much everyone's just a work in progress and learning and probably wondering the same things you are. So that's something I really wish I knew.
Yeah. 1,000% agree.
Sometimes I still have to remind myself sometimes, like, Court, you can, ask your question, like, or just do your best, we're all just trying here. Yeah.
Exactly. I loved your first tip too. I love both of those. We were talking about your second tip on another recording earlier, just about we're all still trying to figure it out. Like I get stuck in this mindset of I'm 27 and I'm like, I should know what I'm doing. I'm like this many years out of college. Like I should have my life figured out. And it's like, no, there's people that are much older who are still trying to figure it out. And, we can keep being in that state of becoming and evolving and stuff personally. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that is a just awesome reminder that we do not hear enough of. And so thank you for sharing that. But the first one too, we were talking to a friend last night and talked about the whole sense of urgency in marketing, and that quote, it's a PR, not ER, came up, and it's like, it's such an overplayed quote, but it's so true. It's like really like nothing with social media or any of that stuff is that urgent ever.
And I used to work for a hair care company, and every time something would be just so stressful, they would always say, we just make shampoo. It's going to be okay. And like, I carry that through like my entire career with me. I don't work in hair care anymore, but I am always like, if a stressful situation comes up, I'm like, it's just shampoo.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Saying that it's just shampoo.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be our first t-shirt. Like it's just shampoo. Marketing, hashtag marketing on the back.
Oh my God.
So funny. We have it. We're going to go to Vista right after this and do that. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Courtney. So I have one more question on the career topic. So you mentioned at the beginning of the episode that you moved, or you were born in California, right? Grew up there. Okay. Yeah. And you're in Australia now. That is a big move. That's huge. And I think even for us, like you also mentioned, you went from California to New York. That's also another big move. What was it like taking that risk in your personal and professional life? And why do you feel those kind of leaps are beneficial to you overall?
Yeah, I'm just like reliving them like a little bit. Met me when I was like 5. I had like intense separation anxiety, and then all of a sudden I hit high school and it's like never been a problem ever since. Now I just want to go on adventures. I just like life to be exciting, I think, and I like saying yes to opportunities. And I think the more places you experience, the more people you meet from different backgrounds, just the more tolerant you are, obviously, and the greater your perspective is. And it applies to like your personal life. It applies to your professional life. And I'm trying. What was the second part of your question? I already forgot. I got lost in my memory. Sorry.
No, you're good. You kind of already mentioned it, but just the benefits of doing so. Like, how does that?
Right, yeah.
How has that enhanced your life personally and professionally?
Yeah, I would just say the experiences I've had, the people I've met. Like, I just have a community everywhere. Like, I feel sort of like I am a citizen of the world sometimes. Like,
awesome.
I obviously live here in Melbourne, and then I have but I have all my community in New York. I have my community in California. I have friends in the UK, everywhere. Just, it's amazing. You get really inspired. Like, I think sometimes when I mean, it can be as simple as just going for a walk in a different neighborhood, but when you're traveling and experiencing new cultures, you're just like, wow, how can it just, whether it's a direct impact or just inspiring you somehow to think differently, when you bring that back to your work and that's amazing. And then in terms of your personal life, I mean, when you see people living such a different, like a different way or I remember being in Peru and just seeing like, there's a lot of impoverished areas. And sometimes when you're, I don't know, complaining about little things, you're like, well, okay, get a reality check.
Yeah.
It's just good to have that perspective. So, I mean, the benefits are amazing. I won't say that it's easy.
Yeah.
Moving from San Francisco to New York was fairly easy. That was pretty simple, but yeah, moving here has no, you can ask any of the people who are transplants, like visas are not the most fun, but it's all worth it. Yeah, and you really learn that you can get through anything because it's a big challenge and figuring out like, do I want to live here long term and all the effort that goes into that. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cassie and I are huge proponents of getting out from where you came from, whether that's where you went to college or where you grew up, and just getting out into the world. That happened for both of us, and not necessarily as far as Australia, but I moved right after college to Nashville and she moved right after college to New York. And so we were, honestly, that's kind of how we bonded, because we were experiencing the same thing and just trying to get out there and like get these new perspectives and new experiences and things like that. And I think that's so healthy to do, especially, you don't want to stay in your bubble your whole professional life. You want to get out there, meet people. That's what life is about. So I love that so much.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I said, it's hard, but I think also too, when you're able to move to a new place and figure things out, meet new people, get work, like how good do you feel about yourself? You're like, wow, I've made it in New York or wherever. Like it doesn't matter how it's just 2 hours from your house, but like reestablishing yourself is not easy. And when you do it like once or twice, I don't know. I look back at that, I'm like, you know what? Court, you got this. You can do it. You've done harder. Yeah.
Love that. Well, we reached the end here of our interview. Courtney, where can everybody find you, follow along with what you're up to and what 99 Designs is up to? I know we have a discount code or a link that we'll put into the show notes for everybody, but where can people find you? Well,
for 99 Designs, we're pretty much 99 Designs on all social. I think on TikTok with 99 Designs by Vista. So check us out there. And then for me, you can find me on, I would say Instagram, but I've spent my last like 10 years just on clients or brands social media. So I actually am not that great with my personal social. So anyway, but you can find me on, oh, thank God. I'm always relieved to find it's not just me.
No, it's not.
But you can LinkedIn, Courtney Cervantes. Welcome to come. Please send me a note, say hello. Like I love to chat. So
yes. Thank you so much for joining us. This was such a great experience. And again, we had such a great time using the platform and just kind of, getting our new logo. It was seriously something that we needed and it came at the perfect time. And we're so excited to continue chatting and learning more about other aspects of the platform and everything like that. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll catch you in Australia at some point.
Yes, come visit. Thank you guys so much for this. I had a really great time. I'm like ready for a mimosa now. I feel like I just want to switch some tea and have a glass of bubbly or something, but this is really fun. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, your help with the whole process was great too. So just want to say thank you to you personally for your involvement in that process. But we had a blast. So thanks for coming on and sharing everything with us.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
That's a wrap on this week's episode of Marketing Happy Hour. We hope you enjoyed hearing from Courtney and are excited to dive into a new creative project of your own. If you're interested in learning more about 99 Designs by Vista, be sure to head on over to 99designs.com/marketing-happy-hour to learn more. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite platform. To keep up with all things Marketing Happy Hour, follow us on Instagram at Marketing Happy HR and check out our new Marketing Happy Hour website by visiting marketinghappyhr.com. That's marketinghappyhr.com. Catch you next week.